something changed. Something suddenly changed in the corridors of the Congress. You can feel it, can't you? The smell of tension in the air. That moment when everyone knows that something is on the verge of breaking. There are files in Washington that have been quietly buried for years. They can no longer remain silent. Why, you ask? Because Ted Lieu took action. According to rumors, when Ted Lieu takes action, he doesn't just ask questions, he uncovers the truths. Epstein files. 2 words. Just 2 words. But do you know what lies behind these 2 words? Years of secrecy, a multi-billion-dollar fortune, dozens of powerful names, and countless victims. Now a Congress member stands up and asks, "Where are the missing files?" And this question is creating waves, big waves. So who is Ted Lieu? A Democratic representative from California's 36th Congressional District, former Air Force officer. He has a degree in computer science and a law degree. Someone who gets caught up in details, someone who loves evidence, someone who sees the gaps. He doesn't make policies for performance, he does it for the result. And now, he's after something. The missing FBI files from the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. If you've clicked on this video, you already know. This is not just a political discussion, a historical reckoning. That's why I have a request for you at the beginning of the video. It's not a big request. Like this video. Share. Subscribe to the channel. Why? Because such news doesn't stay in the mainstream media for long, but we will follow every second of it. Now, let's begin. Do you know how LIEU'S request started? With a tweet? No. With a press conference? Again, no. It started with an official letter sent directly to the Ministry of Justice. Date, February 13th. Recipient, FBI, Director Kash Patel. Subject, complete list of Epstein investigation files and the determination of the location of the hidden things. The letter was cold, formal, and focused like a laser. What did Lieu want? 1. A complete inventory of all FBI files related to the Epstein investigation. 2. A list of all FD 302 documents stemming from the 2019 Southern District of New York indictment. 3. The number and names of individuals mentioned in these documents who have not yet been interviewed. 4. A written explanation of the FBI's reasons for not investigating these names. 5. An explanation regarding the existence of any documents related to the CIA, Mossad, or other intelligence agencies. 6. A definitive timeline for when these documents will be presented to the congressional oversight committees. And most importantly, he wanted an answer within 7 days. 7 days. This was not a request, friends. It was an order. I wonder if Lieu's letter was really leaked. It was not leaked to the media. It was sent directly to the Ministry of Justice. But, and this is a very important but, a copy went to the Congressional Oversight Committee. 1 copy went to the Judiciary Committee. A copy went to the Intelligence Committee. What does this mean? Lieu is not just asking questions. It's creating a paper trail for future sessions. For future sessions. Laying the groundwork for future investigations. Is Lieu's timing a coincidence? Absolutely not. Do you know how many days after the session where Thomas Massie grilled Kash Patel he took action? Just 3 days later. Massie had shown the cracks. Lieu is now widening those cracks. Do you remember? Massie had asked, "Are the FD 302 documents with the FBI?" Patel had answered, "Yes." Massie had asked again, "Have you read these documents?" What did Patel say? "I personally don't know, but the FBI read it." Lieu specifically targeted this point. When we analyze this statement, if the FBI read it but did nothing, why? If he didn't read it, how is Patel making definitive statements in the Senate? In either case, there is a problem, and Lieu is determined to document this issue. Now let's get to the sharpest part of the letter. 5th point, intelligence connections. Do you know what Lieu clearly wrote? The CIA wrote it. Mossad wrote. He wrote other foreign intelligence agencies. Why is it important to put these names in writing? Because once it is written down, it cannot be ignored. It can be referenced in every future session. She can be quoted in every inquiry. Congressman Lieu had asked in his letter dated February 13th. All questions start like this, and then there is no escape. It seems that LIEU'S handling of this issue surprised many people. Why? Because what is LIEU usually interested in? Technology, climate change, military reform. The Epstein case is not his main area of expertise, but maybe that's why it's so effective. Because there is no party line, there is no ideological agenda, there is just a simple question. Where are the files? And why isn't it being used? Do you know what happened after the letter was made public? According to the information that was made public, social media exploded within a few hours. The hashtag Epstein files became a trending topic. Legal analysts spoke, journalists wrote, activists shared. They were all asking the same question: how will the FBI respond? Because the answers they can give are limited. Listen, this is very important. Answer 1. The files are here, and we've read them all. But there's no evidence to blame anyone. In this case, what would Lieu ask? Then why weren't the 20 people mentioned in the FD 302s questioned? Answer 2. The files are here, but we haven't read all of them. In that case, what would Lieu ask? So how can Director Patel make definitive statements in the Senate? Answer 3. Some files are missing. In this case, what would Lieu ask? How did it go missing? Who is responsible? And why wasn't it reported to Congress earlier? Answer 4. Some files are classified. In this case, what would Lieu ask? Under what authority is it classified? And why can't the Congressional Oversight Committees access it? Do you see? Every option is a trap for the FBI. Lieu knows this, Patel knows this, and now everyone knows it. There is another critical point in Lieu's letter. Timeline request. He asks, when? He doesn't accept an indefinite soon. During the process is not acceptable. Is this the truth? He wants a specific date. Why, you ask? Because without history, there is no accountability. Without history, everything remains in limbo. Do you know how things get killed in Washington? They say, we're reviewing. They say, we are evaluating. They say it's proceeding according to procedures. For months, nothing happens. For years, nothing happens. Lieu knows this game, and he refuses to play. 7 days, sharp, clear, non-negotiable. So will the FBI respond within 7 days? Probably not. But here's the beautiful part. Their not giving it is also an answer. Because then, what does Lieu do? He sends a second letter. This time it's harsher. And the next letter comes with subpoenas. It comes with public sessions. Lieu is laying the groundwork to initiate this. Now I need to say something here. A very important thing. The letter didn't just go to the FBI. It was also sent to the media. But something interesting happened. The major media outlets didn't care about it. There was a 3-minute segment on CNN. Just 3 minutes. 5 minutes on MSNBC. Just 5 minutes. Fox News covered it a bit longer, but it still wasn't the main story. Why? Why did this happen? Because the Epstein story is a dangerous story, friends. When the strings are pulled, it's unclear where it will lead. It cuts the Democrats, cuts Republicans. He cuts Hollywood, cuts Wall Street, cuts foreign leaders. No one really wants to open this box. But Lieu is opening it. And while doing this, he is not alone. Silently but effectively, a coalition is forming. Look, Thomas Massie is coming from the right, libertarian, skeptical of institutional power, supporter of transparency. Ted Lieu is coming from the left, Human rights advocate, an advocate for accountability, not afraid to tell the truth to power. They are ideologically different, but they are on the same page about this. This is important, very important, because the Epstein case is not a partisan issue. It's not a left-right issue. The issue of power and accountability. Can the powerful be held accountable? Or do laws become invalid after crossing a certain threshold? What do Lieu and Massey say together? No one is on it. You need to keep watching these, because this is not just a letter, the beginning of a movement. Subscribe to our channel. Turn on notifications. Stay informed about every update. The mainstream media will try to kill this story, but we will continue to watch. There is another noteworthy topic in Lieu's letter. Language use. Not accusatory, but insistent. He says, "I demand." He doesn't say, "You are guilty." This is intentional. Why? Because Lieu is a lawyer. He knows how to create a record. What if he had been aggressive and accusatory? The Justice Department could have called it a partisan attack. The media could have called it a political demonstration. But Lieu just wants information. Simple information. Legitimate information. Information within the framework of surveillance responsibility. You cannot object to this. If you can't, what will you do? Either you have to answer, or you have to explain why you didn't respond. In either case, Lieu wins. The sixth point of the letter is also strategic. Very strategic. When will these documents be presented to the congressional oversight committees? He asks. He doesn't say if. He says when. Do you see the difference? This question assumes the existence of the documents and assumes that Congress has the right to access. Such linguistic traps are very important in legal documents. The other party cannot say, "No, we won't show it," because the question is not structured that way. The answer never to the question, when, is legally weak, and it directly rejects Congress's constitutional oversight authority. Lieu is setting these traps, and the Ministry of Justice can stumble on each one. Now let me tell you something. The story of the Epstein files. It started in 2019. Jeffrey Epstein was arrested on July 6, 2019, on charges of sex trafficking, on charges of sexual abuse of minors. He was placed in the New York Metropolitan Correctional Center. He was found dead in his cell on August 10, 2019. Official statement, suicide. But since that day, the questions have never ceased. Never. How was he removed from the suicide watch list? Why was the cellmate transferred? How did the cameras malfunction? Why did the guards fall asleep? Why are there inconsistencies in the autopsy? All of these questions are important. But there's something else Lieu is focused on. Epstein is dead, but the files did not die. Do you know what the 2019 indictment produced? Thousands of pages of material, hundreds of interviews, dozens of search warrants, dozens of FD 302 documents. And there are names in these documents. Names of people who worked with Epstein, names who traveled with him, names introduced to the victims. Some of these names have come to public attention. Ghislaine Maxwell, arrested. He was tried. He was convicted. Jess Staley, Barclays CEO. He resigned. Prince Andrew. He stepped back from royal duties. Jean-Luc Brunel, French model scout, found dead in prison. But, and this is a very big but, according to the list Massey counted, there are at least 20 more names. Hollywood producer, banker, politician, rock star, illusionist, billionaires. Who are they? Why weren't they questioned? Why are their names not in the media? Lieu is asking these questions and wanted an answer. What could the FBI's possible defense be? The victim's statements are not reliable enough. It is not supported by other evidence. Okay, let's say it's true. Then why were these people never questioned? Think about it. If a victim goes to the FBI and says, "This person abused me," What should the FBI do? Isn't it to interrogate that person? How can you talk about lack of evidence without questioning? This is a logical paradox, and Lieu knows this. The FBI might have another defense. Jurisdiction issues. Some of these people are in other countries. Okay, nice. So what about the Americans? The Hollywood producer is probably American. The banker is probably American. The former politician is definitely American. What is stopping us from questioning them? Another deadlock. The FBI's third possible defense. Statute of limitations. Some charges have expired. Okay, but minor trafficking is a federal crime, and in some states, there is no statute of limitations. Additionally, an investigation can be conducted even if the statute of limitations has expired. Why, you ask? Because this investigation is not just about individual accusations. It's about a network. It's related to a system. Epstein didn't work alone, guys. He had pilots. They had assistants. They had their accountants. They had lawyers. They had travel planners. There were property managers. There was an operation. To understand the structure of this operation, all the pieces are necessary. And if the FBI didn't collect these pieces, why? There is another important point in Lieu's letter. Intelligence connections. Do you remember former U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta, the deal he made in 2008? Epstein received a very light sentence. Do you know what Acosta said when he was asked later? I was told Epstein was intelligence. And I was asked to quit my job. Belonging to intelligence. What does this mean? CIA, Mossad, MI6, another organization? And if Epstein was an intelligence asset, what was the operation about? Putting powerful people in danger? Gathering intelligence? Blackmail? These questions may seem like conspiracy theories, but Acosta's statement is on record, publicly available, verifiable. Lieu is touching this thread. And if there really is an intelligence component, the files should be in both the FBI and the CIA, not just the FBI. He had asked Masih Patel, do you remember? Did you see the CIA file? Patel had given an evasive answer. Lieu is now asking in writing, and he wants a written response. If Patel says, there is a CIA file, but I haven't seen it, Lieu asks, why didn't you see it? As the FBI director, don't you have access? If Patel says there is no CIA file, Lieu asks, then what does Acosta's intelligence community statement mean? Have you looked into this? If Patel says I can't comment, it's classified? Lieu asks, what level of classification? Can the Congressional Intelligence Committee access this information? Can the Congressional Intelligence Committee access this information? Again, traps in every direction. Something happened after Lieu sent this letter. Other Congress members also took action. Nancy Mace, Republican from South Carolina, sent a similar letter. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat from New York, he tweeted his support. Matt Gaetz, a Republican from Florida, he announced that he has launched his own investigation. The coalition is growing. It crosses party lines. The interesting thing about this Epstein case, people from all sides of the political spectrum are demanding answers, because this is not a party matter, a matter of power, and power has to be accountable. It is also interesting how the media is handling this story. Some media outlets completely ignore it. Some just say, a congressman sent a letter. Only a few independent journalists are delving into it. Why? Because this story is disturbing. If you follow Epstein's connections, where do you end up? To the big media moguls, to the CEOs of large companies, to major donors. No one wants to knock on those doors, but Lieu is knocking, and it will keep playing until the door opens. If you want to follow this struggle, now is the perfect time to subscribe, because the coming weeks are critical. The FBI's response will come, or it won't. In either case, the story will continue, and we will be here every step of the way. Don't forget to like, share, and stay tuned. When you look at LIEU'S background, this is in line with his character. He worked on computer systems in the Air Force. He specialized in technology law and civil rights in law school. Since coming to Congress, there has been a consistent theme: holding the powerful accountable. He questioned tech companies about data privacy, investigated military contractors for excessive spending. He fought against climate change deniers, the same approach every time: evidence, logic, insistence. Now he is applying the same approach to the Epstein files. So what will the outcome be? There are a few scenarios. Listen. Scenario 1. The FBI provides a complete inventory and explanation. LIEU is satisfied. The files are made public. New investigations begin, accusations come. Probability? Low. Scenario 2. The FBI gives a partial response, shares some information. He keeps some to himself. LIEU is not satisfied. The summonses begin. The court battle begins. It lasts for years. Probability? Medium. Scenario 3. The FBI does not respond, or it responds inadequately. LIEU duplicates the letters. Other Congress members join in. The press increases. Public pressure increases. In the end, sessions are held. But the real secrets remain hidden. Probability? High. To be realistic, the third scenario is the most likely. Why? Because if there are truly strong people to be protected, the system was designed to protect them. But every oppression creates cracks. And when there are enough cracks, the wall collapses. LIEU creates cracks. Massey is creating cracks. The full text of LIEU'S letter is 4 pages. Each paragraph is carefully written. Each request is specific. Each question requires an answer. For example, on the second page, it asks this: how many people has the FBI interviewed in connection with Epstein since the 2019 indictment? Number wanted. Some do not accept it. Many do not accept. Exact number. Why, you ask? Because when the number is recorded, a comparison can be made. There are 20 names in the files, but only 5 people were questioned. Why? Like that. Another question. Did the FBI examine the flight logs of Epstein's private jet? Was a database created to determine who he flew with, when, and where? This seems like a simple question, but it's very important. Why, you ask? Because flight records are objective evidence. Names, dates, places. It's not a victim's statement, documented fact. If the FBI examined these records, it means they know who frequently flew, where they went, and with whom they traveled. If they didn't investigate, why? LIEU wants these details, because the devil is in the details. On the third page, there is another sharp question. Did the FBI track Epstein's financial records? Is there an analysis showing which accounts made payments to whom and when? Again, objective evidence. Bank records don't lie. If Epstein made regular payments to certain individuals, why? Consulting fee, reward, hush money. These questions should be asked, and LIEU is asking. The last page of the letter is the strongest. LIEU writes this. Listen carefully. The American people and the victims of these crimes deserve to see full, complete, and timely justice. The uncertainties and inconsistencies in the FBI's approach to this case undermine public trust. Transparency and accountability are not just preferences, but duties. Then he adds, I expect a written response to the above questions within 7 days. If I do not receive a satisfactory response within this period, I would like to state that I will have to take more formal steps. If I do not receive a satisfactory response within this period, I would like to state that I will have to take more formal steps. More formal steps. What does this mean? Summons, court, public session, media call, kindly, but for sure. And the FBI understands this. Now the question is, what will the FBI do? If they're smart, they'll at least give a partial answer. They can't completely ignore Lieu. Why? Because he is not just a congressman, the voice of an ever-growing coalition. But they also don't want to give a clear answer. Why? Because a complete answer creates more questions. That's why they probably look for a middle ground. We can share some information, but some cannot be shared due to ongoing investigations or confidentiality. Would Lieu agree to this? Probably not. And then the second round begins. Meanwhile, what do the victims think? A few of Epstein's survivors made statements to the public. Most of them thanked Ted Lieu. Why? Because they felt that what they had been saying for years was not taken seriously. They said, "No one believed us. We told the police, the FBI, the prosecutors. Nothing happened. Now a Congress member stands up and says, 'Where are these files?' This is important to them, not just for justice, for verification. We're not crazy. We're not lying. It really happened, and there is evidence in the files." Lieu understands this. That's why he doesn't just talk about abstract justice. He is talking about real people. He talks about real pains. He is talking about real accountability. There is another interesting aspect of Lieu's letter. Timing. Why now after 2019? Why 5 years later? There are two reasons. One, the new FBI director. Kash Patel was recently appointed. He's still settling in. He is still building his team. Now is a good time to put pressure to get things moving. 2. Public awareness. Massey's session went viral. People are talking about Epstein again. There is media interest. There is momentum. Lieu is using this momentum. Why? Because when momentum is lost, the story is lost too. History is full of such moments. A window opens. Either you pass through it or it closes. Lieu is passing. So what can ordinary people do? First of all, be informed. Read stories like these. Watch. Share. Silence is the ally of the enemy. Secondly, write to your representatives. Show an example of Lieu's letter. Say, "I want an answer too." Thirdly, pressure the media. Why isn't this story the main news on CNN? Why isn't it front-page news in the New York Times? Ask them. Fourthly, support the victims. Listen to their stories. Believe. Share. Fifthly, don't give up, because the system expects you to give up. It expects you to get bored. It expects you to forget. It expects you to move on to something else, disappoint their expectations. Lieu's letter is a beginning, not an end. We have a long road ahead of us. Maybe court battles that will last for years, sessions, research. But every journey begins with a single step. Lieu took that step. Now let's see who will follow. Who will send the next letter? Who will ask questions in the next session? Who will publish the next document? Because this is not a one-person job. A movement is needed, and movements start with people like you, with the people who watch this video, with the people who share, with people who talk. The Epstein files are not lost. It's sitting somewhere, in an office, on a server, in a vault, and Lieu won't stop until he finds them. We won't stop either. Why, you ask? Because justice may be delayed, but cannot be denied. And accountability is not optional, mandatory. Whoever is strong, whoever the rich person is, whoever is connected, laws apply to everyone, or it is not applied to anyone. And we are choosing the first one. Ted Lieu chose the first. Now it's the FBI's turn to choose. Will they respond? Will they hide? Will they deny? Will they fight? Every option has a cost, and if they are ready to pay this price, they will be better off, because Lieu is ready. The coalition has been prepared. The people are prepared. And there is no turning back now. The files will come to light. Names will be heard. Questions will be asked. Answers will be given. Or now, or later. But it will happen. because the truth can remain buried. But it won't die. And Ted Lieu got a shovel. He started digging, and it won't stop. We won't stop either. This story is not over yet. Maybe it's just beginning. If you want these types of accountability moments to continue, subscribe to our channel. Turn on notifications. Because even if the media loves to ignore these, we will continue to follow every development. This is how the truth comes to light.